This 1971 Squareback is still here. This thing just keeps putting up an incredible fight. Not with the engine. We got the engine running great. What happens is the brake master cylinder reservoir, which is up here underneath the hood, will mysteriously empty itself. And when the sucker goes empty, there's no puddles underneath the car. I can drive it around for, I don't know, maybe a day, and then there's no fluid. Sometimes I come back in the next morning and there's no fluid. But again, there's no puddles underneath the car anywhere. I've since pulled off the wheels. I've gone inside and tore out the entire interior on the driver's side, trying to follow the brake line that runs through the inside of the car to see if there's a leak. Everything is dry. Everything is dry, quite to my surprise. Even the master cylinder, underneath it, no puddles, nothing to speak of. This thing has just been a complete mystery. Where is the fluid going? First I thought maybe it was evaporating, because I did notice that the cap on here was broken, but master cylinder brake fluid, but brake fluid shouldn't evaporate that quickly. I mean, it doesn't evaporate that quickly at all. It probably takes, months for it to vanish. Even with a broken cap or an open cap, it would still take a long time. Anyway, as I got to poking around, I finally realized that up underneath the driver's side here, up in front of the brake pedal, which I don't know how much light is under there. It looks like there might be enough. And yes, this is no clutch. It's a fully automatic. There's a push rod that goes into the tunnel, and there's a hole. I can't really get a good angle of it. You can kind of see it right there. You can see a little light coming through even. That push rod had two boots on it, and those boots were stacked on top of each other. There should only be one. The first one was dry, which told me there's no leak there. And then when I pulled the first one just a little bit out of the way, I discovered there was a second boot behind it that was full of fluid. And when I pushed on that brake pedal, it would gush into the body cavity of this car. So right now, there's two panels that run through the firewall in there that has a hollow cavity inside of it that are retaining fluid. It's not finding its way out. So I'm probably going to have to drill a hole somewhere and let it out, just because you can't have that in the body. It's going to cause rust. It may evaporate on its own. It may take some time. And it probably will eventually. But I got to get it out of there. So we'll take care of that too. But that master cylinder is shot. And one of the other symptoms that we had, which is weird, you step on the brakes, they work, right? Everything's fine. But if you step on the brakes very gently, you can push it all the way to the floor. But if you use them like normal, they work good. If you push on the brakes hard, even firmly, as hard as you can, it retains pressure. But if you pull up just a little bit off of that, the brake pedal will again go to the floor. It's the strangest thing. Anyway, master cylinder. That's what it was. The owner of this car did not want another Chinese part on it, because it's always the Chinese parts that give her the fight. So we got her a good German OEM one. But first, likey, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to pluck that dingle blaze to get updates every time I upload a video. Check out DuckmanCycles for all my different social media links. And we'll be back right after that intro. Well, the new German master cylinders are quite expensive. We're looking at between $200 and $300. Ouch. I got a German one and I put it on my fastback about 10 years ago, and I don't think I even paid $100 for it, to be quite honest with you. But German ones are getting harder to find. This is an OEM new old stock master cylinder in here. The proper ATE one. You see the logo on it, see? So this is an original from way back when. We were lucky to have found that, and we got a great deal on it. But anyway, this is going to go into this car. 19mm master cylinder, which is your standard that you find on these. And this is a Type 3 master cylinder. No, a Beetle one won't work. Well, I mean, it will work, but it won't work properly. This output here is actually on the top. And what happens is over the top of this moves your tie rods. That's why this is at a 90-degree angle instead of a 45 like that one. Because the tie rod ends are here. So if your brake line comes out the top, it's going to whack it. So it really doesn't work well. Also, the brake light switch is in a different location. It's on the back here. And I think, what are these brake lights? That's a brake light switch, if I'm not mistaken. and I think that's a brake light switch. This goes to the rear, this goes to the front, this goes to the front. So anyway, we're going to install this sucker. It's going to be a little hard to get some video of that. It's really easy to do on a Type 3 over a Beetle, because you can do all of it from underneath the car. You don't have to go back up and have somebody hold and put the bolts in from the other side. Everything is done from underneath the car. Now I'm going to do the best I can to try to show you. There's not a whole lot of light. We'll see how much light we have left during the day. It's actually a cool spot for a moment. For a change, it's only about 85 degrees out here. I'm not dying. And the humidity is relatively low, even though it's just been pouring rain. But let's get under there and see. Alright, going underneath the front here. Got our jack stand, of course. Put it right up under here because it's going to be in our way otherwise. We'll let the jack down just a little bit. That way it's on that. Here it is. Fantastic. Okay, we're good now. Now up underneath here, got my flashlight. There's a cover, which, this is the way I found it, guys. There's supposed to be 2 bolts in it. It looks like there's only 1. This is the cover that's supposed to protect the master cylinder. And, well, as you can see, it's not where it belongs. There it is. Alright, that blue thing is our proportional valve that is what, of course, the flashlight's gonna fail. Oh, come on, flashlight. There it is. I don't even know if that's giving you very much light, but there's our master cylinder. Should look familiar. It looks very much like a Beetle, but it's very easy to get to. There's our bolts right there and there, so they come right on out. I think they're 13 millimeters. All the lines are easily accessible. There's our electrical stuff. So this is going to be a real breeze to physically replace. What happens after that is another story. I'm going to go and clamp off our lines that are coming off the reservoir to try to trap as much of the fluid in as possible, because otherwise it's going to gush as soon as we open this thing up. But that's where it's at. I'm probably not going to be filming too much of this. If I had a lift or something, I would certainly do that for you guys so you guys can see. Because it's kind of a cramped spot, I don't fit in here very well. And, well, it's just going to make me angry if I'm trying to hold the camera at the same time, so we're not going to do that. So we'll be back as soon as we get that thing pulled out. But, like I said, not too much to it from what you can see. Pretty easy stuff. Yeah, it just occurred to me this master cylinder's not in right. That brake switch is supposed to be here. The brake line that's here is supposed to be here, so these are switched around. That I believe is correct, although this and this might be reversed. But anyway, somebody was a little inventive and switched some things around. But since this is working the way it is, it may be improper according to the manual of how you find the cars typically, I am going to reassemble it this way, because it works. It's not going to hurt anybody. Alright. Yeah, let me go pinch off some.
15 minutes later.
Alright, there's the old master cylinder out. Here's the boot that came off of it, which is all nice and crumbly. One of the brake light switches, I had to remove it because when I went for that bolt, I couldn't get a wrench on it to turn it because it would hit the body. So I had to put a ratchet on it. In order to get a ratchet on it, I had to take one of the switches off. This switch doesn't belong here anyway. This switch technically belongs over here. Although if it's here, then you can't get to that bolt either. So this will probably go in last after the master cylinder is already in place. And we'll put it back in. But as I said before, we're going to put everything back in the same location it is because that's the size that all the brake lines are currently bent to. So we're going to put everything back the way it is. Now all these little bungs are identical, so not like they really matter if they're in the wrong one or not. As long as we get fronts to fronts and rears to rears, that's really what's going to be important here. Okay. This is the boot, as you know, that came off of here. There was a second boot which I picked off. This is the new master cylinder. And this new master cylinder here, just to show you an example of what's going on, somebody installed it. They left the old boot inside the body, and they slid it in like that, which is how I couldn't tell if there was any fluid in it because it was all inside of this one. Now this is an ATE. It does have the logo on there. Which side was it? Is it here? Yeah, there it is. You can barely see that. But it is an ATE logo. So this is an OEM master cylinder. It might be the original one that came on this car. It's a good possibility. But this is the one that's going back in. So I'm going to put this brake light switch back in here. That one's going to stay out. One of these lines split when I was trying to disconnect it, so I need a little short piece of hose also. This one just came off. So this one still feels soft and pliable. It's good, but this one's real crumbly. Hopefully there's none of the other ones are bad, but we'll get to that in a minute. And that's how I stopped them off, by the way. Just pinched them. If the hoses are crumbly or going to be bad, they'll crack and they'll just leak, so you'll know immediately if there's something wrong there. But yep, just pinched them real delicately with just the vice grips. Just flatten them. Alright, well, that's where we're at. Let's start putting some stuff back together. I hope to have this thing in before it gets dark, and then I don't think we'll bleed it tonight, but I'll get them bled tomorrow for sure.
The following day.
Well, the Squareback is gone. There she goes. Wanted to get the video out here a little sooner, but it's the best I can do. But look what's back. This stupid Beetle. You might remember it was here last year. It's got a few quirks on it, a few things gone wrong with it. It doesn't want to start again. Last time it was a problem with the ignition switch. Hopefully we'll be able to get that sorted out again. So stay tuned on that. More videos to come. Of course, subscribe if you want to see them. Thanks so much for watching. Well, no sooner I got that master cylinder replaced and I got the brakes bled out. The owner of this vehicle is the same owner as the Squareback. She came for the car and replaced it with this one. So now I'm tasked with fixing this guy. It's a 74 goldfish bowl stupid Beetle. This was here a couple years ago. You might remember I put everything together on it. This car came to me just in boxes of parts. And, well, it came back to me in some more boxes of parts because there's even more stuff that we're going to be putting back together on it. But it belongs to their son. Their son has moved on. He's graduated high school and he's doing his own thing. And he just doesn't have any interest in this anymore, and the family doesn't want to keep it up for him. So it's time that it goes. So I'll be working on this, putting it back together, and then try to get it finalized to a point where we can sell it. And I think I'll be selling it for them. So you'll probably see me talking about, hey, a for sale sign or something up here. Or maybe you'll see it up on Marketplace or the Samba or one of them other websites. You'll see. Coming up soon on that one. Anyway, yeah, it's missing a few things, like the hood handle's not on there. The bumpers are off because they're here. We do have them. There's an extra fender there which came with it, which I guess I'll just put in my fender pile. Otherwise, here's the keys. It arrived, not running. Currently, if I put the key in the ignition and I turn it on, it does nothing. That's interesting. I wonder why. I bet you the battery's disconnected. Let me check that. Yep, sure enough, battery was disconnected on the negative side, so we got that plugged back in there. Alright, go back up front here, turn the key on. Look at that, chicken feathers on my keys. Alright, everything's on, including the turn signals. Alright, so, go to crank it, nothing. And that was the problem they had, it wouldn't start. Now, we've replaced this ignition switch on this thing twice already. Now, I don't know if they're just defective parts. They are under warranty. We did buy them from a local auto parts dealership. I probably should try to get a better part than the one that we're using on there, but, well, what we got is what we got. Now, I do notice there's a little push button over here. See that underneath the dash? I don't know what that's for. It's not stock. I may just rewire that. And while we're at it, I may go underneath the back here. See, let's just pull the seat out entirely. Come on, seat, let go. Why the hell want to come out? There it is. Pull it completely out of here, one-handedly. In the back here, underneath the seat, is the wire that goes to the starter. That's this one right here. Okay, this wire, I'm gonna unplug it in the middle. You know what? This one actually is soldered together. Look at that. Nope, it's broken. Alright, well, that could be part of the problem, but this should crank it. I don't know if I got a good connection there. I might have to skin it back a little bit, but we'll touch that to positive, and of course if it cranks, then the starter is good. Well, before I even got to any skinning of the wires, I tugged on this a little bit. Look at this. It's not even connected to the starter at all. So we may not have a bad ignition switch. We may not have anything bad in the wiring other than this piece that I broke off over here. I don't know what was wrong there, but we'll fix that. And then we'll get this thing rewired underneath the car back to the starter. And it might crank over. That's if the ignition switch isn't bad, in addition to these other problems. So let me get up underneath this thing. I'm probably going to have to pull the back wheel off. And I may just put a hot start relay on it if it does blow out ignition switches regularly, because maybe it's just a little too much load on them. And conveniently, there is a relay back here already, which is normally for the rear window defroster, but so many of these cars, well, the wiring's either not there for them, or the rear window defroster itself is scratched or damaged, which is very common, and this car is no different, because usually they paint it right on the surface of the glass, and I don't know if you can see it, but some of the ribs are just missing, which is very common from it being wiped down and cleaned so many times over the years. Alright, boy, it's hot in here. Oh. Alright, let's get some wiring fixed. We gotta put this back to the starter. In fact, you know what, I might run it up and over. It's supposed to go in there, but more conveniently, that side I can go straight to the starter, not have to reach over the damn transmission. We might just do that instead. Alright, let's get something hooked up, see if we can get this thing cranked up. Well, that didn't work out too good. Went inside to grab a handful of wire tools so I could do some cutting and some crimping, and it started pouring. So I quickly slapped everything together, put the car back together so I could close it down to keep the stuff from getting wet. But that kind of ruins my plans for today. And if I don't finish this video up, that means I'm not going to have a video for the weekend. So I think we're going to wrap this one up here. There's lots more I wanted to do on this, and I really wanted to have some more to show, but it wouldn't hurt if it's its own video either. So I guess that's what we'll do. We'll just wrap this one up for today. So thanks guys for watching. Licky, likey, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to pluck that dingle bell so you get updates every time I upload a video. Check out Duck Shit down there from all other social media links. And well, hopefully be back maybe with another go-kart something video this weekend, because that's kind of been the plan. I wanted to get something up for Sunday, so we have a small engine Sunday, so watch out for that. It just might happen, as long as this weather goes away. Tonight was supposed to be the Hot Rods and Hokies, which is our version of the Cars and Coffee. It's over at the local Philly's Cheesesteak restaurant. I think it's put on by the owner's son, and it's a pretty good event. They usually get a lot of cars, especially the last time. Oh my god, I guess they brought out, I'd say maybe 100 cars or more. It was a lot. Normally the event is about half that size, and it just exploded last time, and anyway, got canceled. Bummer. But I've had a busy week this week, so I haven't had a chance to record a whole lot of other videos, so let's just put together what we got. I guess we'll just take a poke outside and have a look at the birds and see what's going on out there. Otherwise, that's it for today. Thanks guys for watching. Alright, this is the Beetle that everybody confuses with the one that was out front. These two cars have never been here concurrently before until recently. I'll have them parked side by side, but they're both 74 Stupid Beetles, and they both actually had a lot of the similar requests by the owners, you know, build a car. Boxes of parts are given to me. This one has been a lot more work than the other one has, though, because the other car was semi-assembled. This one was not at all assembled. A lot more work is going into this. Otherwise, here's the birds. Oh, man, that rain is actually cold. There's Mr. Boom. I can't tell if you're Dusty or Dizzy. Nope, that's Dusty. Dizzy was over here. I heard a lower pitched honk. There you are. That's Dizzy. Fluffy's in there. There's Cheekster. Hello, Cheekster. My little girl. You're hiding from the rain, huh? I see you're dry. Well, mostly dry. Your tail's a little wet. And you're gonna be a birthday girl next month. That's right, you're gonna be 2. Don't tell me no, it's true. I think her birthday's like the 12th of August. And Cheeky, I think, is the 17th of September. I have to check my calendars. Oh, look. Got some wet food out. You know, they'll eat it. They're not too picky, they're chickens. Alright. Looks like the wind blew this over. Get this fixed so they have some kind of a shelter. This is where the ducks like to go. Chickens prefer the house. The ducks like the mud. It's just the way ducks are. And one of them flipped their pool over. Not really a pool, it's a drinking dish, but they swim in it. Because they're ducks. That's what ducks do. Usually I have this set up so that way rain will run down and into it to fill it up. We'll put that back too. There you go. It's like they fill it with dirt. Good. Hey, Mr. Boom. My camera's getting wet. It means it's time for me to go in. Don't bite me. Don't you bite me. And there's the go-kart, of course, which is damn near ready to go. It needs some a little more chassis work. I gotta work on the steering, get the tires set so that way they hold air, and then well, after that's set and done, finish bolting down the engine. It's ready to go. But yeah, there's that 74 Beetle again. And there's all my mowers. I can't cut my damn grass because for some reason I have 3 dead mowers. All of my mowers that were running are having issues. Thankfully I have friends on my side such as the HIPAA store, so we'll get through that. Maybe make a video, maybe won't. I guess we'll see. But anyway, enough for now. Thanks for watching, guys.